Good afternoon, everyone. I will try. Actually, I was born in New York City, and I am both American and Canadian. And every so often, I'll slip back and forth, so my accent may just become very strange. But none of you have accents, so you're fine. Before I begin, I want to announce that as Mike and I and the two institutes are working towards a working arrangement, MOUs, that some of my slides are very reminiscent of what Mike introduced the other day. He thinks I stole them. But I've been doing this for 20 years. And then I did steal some of his slides anyway as a way to show where there are points of commonality and where we actually meet in our thinking. As a matter of fact, as Mike said after his talk, and I said, oh, I want those slides. It was a case of, if not great minds think alike, but there's a confluence of intelligence around the world. And if that isn't the very core of globalization, then I don't know what is. We often think of globalization in terms of economics. Well, it's also cultural. It's also ideas. I'm very glad to be here in the Grimsby area where I took a nice, wonderful walk on the beach. That kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. I've had some of the best coffee I've ever had, and I wasn't expecting that here in England. I've also had some incredible meals, not the least being the best fish and chips in the world. You guys are good. You could tell food is a big issue for me. I'm going to be talking about human capital and talent development strategies for emerging professions, of which supply chain and logistics is one, productivity is another, and I'll go very quickly through this. This is a very large slide pack, but I am not going to speak to all of them. So the Institute, the Grimsby, will either give you copies or what have you. You're free to use them as you wish. I ask that we not have any questions unless there's like 2 minutes that Mike gives me at the end.
I'll give you some time.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. I don't think I have to talk too much about globalization. We'd be fools to think that it doesn't exist. As I just said, it isn't just economics, it's also cultural. And it is reality. It isn't something that we need even to discuss as a possibility. It's here, it's now, this is our life. At the same time, the IT networking is the great enabler of globalization, and that's why I put the two of them together. If it weren't for IT, the internationalization of communication, we wouldn't have globalization. Those two go together, and some of us have gray hairs in this room, not all of us, but I certainly do, when we do remember the time before there was the PC. Yes, folks, there was a time before the PC. You do know that PC means personal computer. Okay, good. Good, I was just wondering. So globalization is reality, and IT is the connectivity. It's the connective tissue around a globalization, through globalization. And what has occurred is there has been a change in how we view the world. Competition has changed. Skills have changed. Talent has changed. And that's what I want to focus on, I think. Good. What are the great drivers of globalization, and what does globalization drive us to? Well, there are these, what we call the 6 V's. Value, not product. Value is more important in a globalized economy than product. Product must have value, but it's more than just product. Velocity, there's always speed to market. All right, for a variety of reasons. Everything from health and safety, especially in the seafood world where delicacy and perishability is very strong, all the way straight through to if it isn't on the shelf in a retail situation, I won't buy it. That's the difference between product competition. Variability. We are not only expecting variability in terms of our consumer capability, but as we discussed earlier today, variability in the processes and the systems that we deal with. Visibility, so where is it? What's happening? We always want to know what is going on around us. Vulnerability has become reality. And we're not talking about 9/11 in the United States. That just happens to be one incident among many. Vulnerability is perishability of food food stocks, all the way straight through to bombs being thrown, planes disappearing, containers being jettisoned from ships. Verdancy is a terrible word. It is not a good English word, but I couldn't come up with a V, and it means other than this terrible word. And by the way, being a multilingual, I think, is what we'd like to say, but in reality, we're a nation of two languages, English and French. In French, verdancy makes more sense than it does in English, and of course, it's our global environmental issues. We cannot do anything, as we heard today, without being aware of and concerned about the world around us. So those are key things that keep us going. What has occurred, in my experience over the last 20 plus years, is that there are emerging expertises coming out of a globalized world. Things that are very different in terms of professionalism and in terms of talent and competencies. We focus on, here's just a short list, international banking and finance. It's very different from just banking in your local branch. The international food chain, this is a global reality, and there's a whole professional competency-based approach to what that means that we should be examining, and I know we are examining. There is a world of international risk and security, and that's not just risk and security because of bombs or things like that. It's an emerging reality in resistance. So there's a whole, not resistance, I'm sorry, resilience. There's a profession growing out of the United States and possibly in parts of Europe around resilience, the resilient company. International trade, export, import, global economic development, that's a whole other issue. Ethics and CSR, supply chain and logistics, telecommunications, and being a board member of WCPS, productivity, as we have been redefining it as SEE, social, economic, environmental. These aren't just management realities. These are skills and talent realities. These are areas where we need to become expert, and we need to identify our expertise around the world. So the challenge is, how do we prepare an internationally mobile, yes, I do speak Canadian, mobile, as opposed to mobile, as the Americans would say, an internationally mobile workforce who are credibly competent and worthy of international recognition for the global world of work. So these are key issues. It's mobility, because that's key to this being a global concern. It's about the entire workforce, whatever the expertise is. It's about credibility, competence, and recognition. A key set of concepts for us to keep in mind. Over 20 years, the Logistics Institute has developed a strategy around human capital and talent development. Our primary focus has been on supply chain and logistics, but the key elements of this strategy actually are transferable to any field of expertise. You start with the labor market. There are actually